Welcome to Effective People, your HR transformation partner.
Hello, my name is Andre Fonseca. I'm the reporting and analytics subject matter expert at Effective People, and I will be showing you the second half 2024 release items related to reporting and analytics. On this presentation, we will look at the most important topics of this release. Then we will see other release features. Then we will deep dive into one of the most important topics. And at the end, we will look at the product roadmap. Starting with the most important topics. With this release, we have the possibility of using sensitive fields in calculated columns in report stories. This brings the possibility of using that calculated column in an aggregated chart. Before this release, it was not possible to use sensitive fields in calculated columns, and we could not use sensitive field without having at the same time the context field, which was usually person ID or user ID, which prevented us from using the sensitive fields in a chart, for example, when we had to aggregate data. Now we have this workaround that we can use the sensitive field in a calculated column and then use that calculated column in a chart so that we can aggregate the values, for example, for ethnicity or for age groups. Now, read logging is not enabled for calculated columns, and there's always the possibility, by the use of filters in the report, that the person running the report can actually get to the individual person behind that sensitive field. So be careful with this enhancement. Continuing with the report stories enhancements, there is a new field in the mentoring program object called mentoring match date. With this field, you will be able to calculate the relationship duration between mentor and mentee. This date is populated when the mentor and mentee have a match, and it won't be changed if they end that relationship. So you will be able to report on the mentoring duration. Reporting on role-based permissions is always a request from administrators. This release brings two new fields to the RPP schema in report stories. You'll now be able to report on the permission category and on the role description. These two new fields on this release are made available in report stories. This release brings another enhancement on report stories data model. There are 4 new fields on country-specific job information, base scale fields. These new fields will enable you to report on country-specific base scale without having to enable base scale on the parent job information object. With this release, we have an enhancement on time management configuration object. There are 2 new fields that will allow us to generate a planned working time in the future and in the past. It will be possible to generate planned working time for the past 12 months and for the future 3 months. This will obviously reflect on reporting, where we will be able to report on planned working time based on these 2 new fields that will generate the data needed for reporting. We now have a new live connection between SuccessFactors and SAP Analytics Cloud. Learning data will be now available through a live connection, and it will be possible to bring LMS data into SAP Analytics Cloud using this new connection. There are a few requirements needed to enable this live connection, but if you have the need to bring learning data into SAP Analytics Cloud and to be able, for example, to combine it with other datasets, this is now possible using live connection between SuccessFactors and SAP Analytics Cloud Enterprise. Moving on to other release features. Our other release features section, I will discuss the deprecation announcements. Some are not new. For example, we have the deletion of classic reports that has been announced. It will be deleted in 15 November, so be ready for not being able to use classic reporting anymore, apart from 3 tools that will remain: archive and print, detailed document search, and objective search. Those tools will remain and it will not be changed. All the other classic reporting tools will be deleted, such as, for example, spreadsheet reports. Scheduled jobs that you currently have ongoing, they will stop working from 15 November forward. You will be able to download the scheduled jobs until their expiration date, but you will not be able to use these tools anymore after 15 November. A new deprecation announcement is the deprecation of Pixel Perfect talent cards. This deprecation is a result of the new people profile being universally available by the end of 2025. And with the new people profile, Pixel Perfect talent cards will not be supported anymore, and therefore they will also be deprecated by November 2025. So the roadmap for this tool is end of development 15 November 2024, and then end of maintenance and deletion on 15 November 2025. Again, this is a result of the new people profile that will be generally applicable by the end of next year, and this tool will not be supported anymore. Continuing with the deprecation announcements. Again, not a new announcement, but just a reminder that tiles and dashboards will be deleted by November 2025. So if you have used or if you are using tiles and dashboards, it's now a good time to start thinking on migrating your existing tiles and dashboards to report stories. Again, they will be deleted by the end of next year, so we still have some time to plan and think of the best strategy to migrate these tiles and dashboards that you have to a report story, for example. Continuing on the topic of the deprecation of tools in reporting. Since 2 releases ago, SAP has announced the deprecation of tables and canvas by the end of 2025, but in the previous release, that deprecation was rolled back. So just to clarify what is the current situation and what we can expect. Currently, SAP does not announce any date for deprecation of canvas or tables. The information that we currently have is that in November 2025, SAP will share more information about the roadmap for these two tools. It's still on SAP plan to evolve reporting in SuccessFactors to be the main tool to be report stories and eventually deprecate canvas and tables. But currently, we don't have any deprecation date. SAP suggests that any use case that can be managed via a story report, customers should go for it, so should build story reports. If there are use cases that are not fulfilled by stories, you can still use tables and canvas. For example, tables are widely used for data extraction. Nevertheless, SAP recommends that, for example, for data extraction, the tool to use should be Integration Center. So currently we don't have deprecation dates. It's on SAP plan to eventually deprecate these tools, but there is no date defined. In this release, there is a limitation on the number of reports that can be included in a scheduling bundle. As you might be aware, you can schedule a Canvas report using Report Distributor tool by creating bundles. And before this release, you were able to include more than 10 reports in the same bundle. With this release, there is a limitation of maximum 10 Canvas reports per bundle. This is to optimize the system performance and not impact system performance while the jobs are running. Existing bundles that have more than 10 reports will not be affected, but you cannot create new bundles with more than 10 reports. For the deep dive topic, we have chosen to discuss enhancements on report stories data model related to recruiting. The first enhancement in the recruiting schema on report stories data model is the ability to generate reports in candidate skills and applicant skills data. Previously, there was no possibility of reporting on this information. After this release, you are able to report on candidate or applicant skills. Also, to understand the status of the skills extraction, you can also show whether the candidate or the applicant have validated their skills. As a requirement, you need to have a mobile apply enabled in your instance and also enable AI services related to these skills data. One of the gaps that existed in report stories was no possibility in reporting on job requisition approval date. You were able to report on job requisition creation date, but not when the job rec was approved. Now you can, and you have the possibility to create a report that will give you when the job requisition was approved and by whom. It is now possible to report on job location and job location chart format object. Again, this was not possible before this release. And now there is this enhancement on job requisition object where you can report on job location and job location short format tables in job requisition. Continuing on recruiting and data model enhancements in report stories, there are 4 new objects that you can use for audit purposes. You have now the audit trail job requisition object where you can track the creation and any actions made in the system to a specific job requisition. You also have job posting audit history where you can track the history of the job postings in your instance. Another object that was made available in this release is the application history and also the candidate profile fields audit tables. So these enhancements are all related to audit purposes, and it greatly increases the ability for you to check and track who has made any actions in your recruiting process. Let's look at the product roadmap. In the reporting analytics product roadmap, can expect some enhancements to the report stories data model. In Q2 2024, it's in the roadmap to have available the currency conversion in report stories. So we've made available the currency exchange rate object in people analytics. You can also expect some enhancements in report stories scheduling and delivery. And in Q4 2025, it's in the roadmap to have the card-based embedded analytics that will allow, for example, to embed a component from a report story in SuccessFactors homepage. Again, we will need to wait to see the next releases, but this is what is currently in the roadmap.
Thank you for joining. We hope you found this video insightful and inspiring. If you're ready to take your workforce to the next level, visit our website for more valuable resources and solutions.